Hello, everyone. I am Camille Ann Lynch Griffith, Education and Outreach Coordinator for FilmCo, and we are here to talk about casting films and commercials in the digital age with founder of the Trinidad and Tobago Performing Arts Network. I'm so sorry, I was going to say Film Festival. Tristan Wallace is a versatile performing arts professional and founder and managing director of the Trinidad and Tobago Performing Arts Network. At the network, he also functions as the head of casting and has collaborated with local, regional, and international theater and filmmakers, event producers, and content creators to find the best talent for their creative projects. Some of his casting credits include Sins of the Father, which is in production, Telepath, Come Find Me, which is in production, Asher from 2020, Positive and Still Here, The Male Perspective, 2019, The Apartment, About Last Night, 2015, as well as numerous television, print, advertisement, and music video production. Tristan studied in the art of casting under international casting director Luce Lennox and is a firm believer in the international potential of our local talent and the viability of the performing arts as a sustainable career in Trinidad and Tobago. To this end, he has collaborated with Douglas Day, the UK, and BDSC VDR Casting Canada to cast Trimbagonian talent for projects in those respective territories. In 2013, he created the Theatre Buzz Call Board, Trinidad and Tobago's first and only casting website and trusted digital hub, where producers and directors can find talent and other creative collaborators for their projects. It has since facilitated over 500 casting calls, and in 2021, the website hit its highest milestone to date with over 10,500 subscribers. Tristan, please take it away and tell us about, casting in the digital age.
Thank you, Camille, for that wonderful introduction. Before I move forward, I also want to thank FilmCo, who has given me this platform to share more about what I do. I mean, since I became a member, FilmCo has been showing me nothing but love. We have these nice headshots, they have their weeknight workshops, and this is just one of the other benefits that they have given to me as a member. I just want to really say that I appreciate it. So before I tell us more about what we do at the network in terms of casting, can I ask Mr. Sarai to play the videos, por favor?
My grandson feel he was a big man before he reached secondary school, telling me about new gadgets to make life easy. But he busting up the food his granny cook with her 2 hands. And Kern's a good boy, I know. I raised him. I know he doesn't like seeing me work too hard. He worries. Before I had my first heart attack, he was excited to live near his university campus. So I felt guilty when he decided to live at home to take care of me. And getting to class and back, he would travel, he said. But I got him a little car anyway, much safer. He graduated, recently got married, and he's doing well for himself with all his tech. He still thinks he knows more than me, but to be honest, I don't know how I would have managed without him.
Your life is your story. Let's help you write your next chapter.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
So why are you here?
I walk out of Golden Grove this morning, Father. I went home and I come here.
You think you could help me? This is a church, not a bank. There's no money here.
You think you could save my soul?
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. What you just saw is two videos, two projects that were cast through the network. The first one was an ad by the Vescuna brothers for Republic Bank, and the second one was the teaser for Sins of the Father. It's no longer in production. It is done, and it shall be coming to a film festival near you. So I hope you all look out for that. So both of these projects use different casting services that we offer at the network. The first one is casting publication, which was used by the Vescuna brothers, and the other one is casting direction. And we'll go more into that as we go along in this presentation. As Camille said, my name is Tristan Wallace. I am the founder and managing director, as well as the head of casting at the Trinidad and Tobago Performing Arts Network. And welcome to my info session on casting in the digital age. So if this is your first time, if you're not really familiar with film, you might be wondering, what is casting? Casting, simply put, is the process of finding actors for your project. Now, while there might be some, I guess, exceptions to the rule, for the most part, everyone that you can see or hear on stage and screen, or even if you can't see them and you can only hear them as in radio plays, audiobooks, and animation, they're all acting. Whether they have no lines or they have all the lines in the world, whether in the background or in the foreground, or whether this is their first credit or their 100th credit, they are all actors that had to be cast, and the casting director is the person who facilitates that. So let me see if I can see the screen a little bit clearer. Let me bring this up a little bit. Right, so there is a saying that I've come across a lot since I've begun my journey in casting, right? They say that there's no such thing as bad acting, only bad casting. And I know some people might disagree. You might disagree, but I firmly believe that everyone is an actor just waiting to be discovered. Everyone, yeah, they're just out there waiting to be cast in the right role and for the right project. Sometimes that right role might be in the background. Sometimes it might be a silent role, and sometimes that role might be something closer in life to what you actually do. So you can bring that level of authenticity to it. Even the most experienced actors, the actors with all the talent in the world, might not necessarily be right for every project. And the process of casting, it could be simple, you know, so maybe like when you get a script, the actors that you visualize in your head to play these roles, like, yeah, they will do it, they're interested, they're available, and it's simple, and other times it's complex as hell, and it involves balancing multiple factors just to find the right je ne sais quoi, you know, to find the right balance, to select the right actor to breathe life into these roles. So let me see what else I can see here. It is both an artistic and practical discipline, yes, as well as good casting is about finding the right balance. Right. So now the question is, where can you find actors? Back in pre-pandemic days, I call it ancient history because I feel like it's been going on forever now. One could have easily gone to theater productions. Next slide, please. One could have gone to theater productions, film screenings, talent showcase, or even performing arts schools. It would be common to find performers there, whether they're on stage or screen or in the audience, you know, giving their support. It was easy to find that. But since the dawn of COVID-19, those sort of events are few and far between, especially maybe in Trinidad, who still have some restrictions, and they might not necessarily have been as patronized as they would have been before the pandemic. But with my philosophy, like I mentioned, you can find actors, but you can find people, and the best place to find people is on Mark Zuckerberg's internet. And at the network, we have two casting services, as I mentioned before, that leverages the power of social media as well as digital communication. in order to help filmmakers, producers, and directors find the persons who would breathe life into their characters. Next slide, please. So the first service that we offer is casting publication through the TheatreBuzz call board. As Camille mentioned, the call board was created in 2013, and we now stand over 10,500 subscribers. And all of those subscribers, they receive a notification via email each time a new post is published. So, question is, how do you get your casting call on the call board? So basically, you can go to our website, which is listed there at the bottom, theatrebuzzcallboard.wordpress.com. I know it's a little bit long, or you can simply go to the link in our Instagram or Twitter or even our Facebook description or Facebook bio, and click that link and select the option to submit your casting call. Once you read and agree to your terms, you can complete the form and click submit. Once you submit your casting call to us, it will be reviewed by our casting assistant, who at this time is Dariel Allard, and I hope she is tuning in right now. I can't see, but I hope you're there. She would check it out and to make sure that everything is copacetic, and it meets our criteria for publication. Once approved and the small service fee is paid, then it will be published, and just like that, with one click, boom, you're off to over 10,500 subscribers directly via email. You would also benefit from additional exposure when we share your casting call to our social media platforms, as well as to our WhatsApp broadcast list. It is also, it's not a locked site, so we have high search engine optimization. So if persons are searching for casting calls or acting opportunities, they can also come across our website. And all applicants apply directly through our website, and it will be received by, it will go to the email address that you provide, and it will be labeled accordingly. So sometimes people send emails with no subject lines. I do understand that line. But when you get a submission through our platform, it is labeled accordingly so you can find the applicants that you need. What is so dry? Oh my God. Yeah. What else can I say about that service? Yes. So if you go to the next slide. Right, so in preparation for this info session, I did a deep dive into the call board just to find examples of projects that submitted their casting calls to our call board. And I came across a lot. I had to pick and choose which one I want to put in, which one I want to keep out. It was a lot. And what you're going to see in the next couple of slides are just representations of some of them. The first one on the left is 83. It was submitted to the call board 2 years ago by a casting assistant from London. And the title was 1983 at that point in time. Now, story time, right? I was walking through the mall sometime earlier this month, and I see this poster, and I was like, why do I feel like I know the storyline of this film? This is a Bollywood film, by the way, just saying. And I went to the call board and I searched cricket, because I just remember it was about cricket. And I saw it was 1983, the same director credits, and I was like, what? Look at this come to the call board. I was so excited. I fanboyed so hard. And I said to casting director, the casting assistant, the other day to say, hey, I saw the theatrical poster in Trinidad and Tobago, looking forward to it, right? I was really excited about that. So that was one. Green Days by the River, that was another film that had its casting call published on our website. And that one had a lot of submissions. We had so many submissions that the website crashed for a moment until I paid for more storage. it was a lot, and it has gone into great things after publication. And She Paradise, I spoke to one of the producers yesterday just to get the approval to use the theatrical poster, and she mentioned that this film went on to win an award or awards at the Tribeca Film Festival, and it is available for viewing on Hulu as well as Amazon, I believe. Yeah. So these 3 projects, and it's just 3 so far, we have more coming up. They had a casting call published on the network, and they found their talent through us, and it was so excited about that. Next slide, please. Yes. So let me start with Mangroves. It actually, the idea to show the representation of the different projects that was cast using the casting publication service came from a young man that I met in Naparima College some time ago, and we were talking about, now he's in the film, and he mentioned that he got his first film through the call board, and that was Mangroves, and now he's out there making films himself, and I was like, what? I want to show that, I want to represent that. Icarus, it was submitted to the call board under a different name. I think the title would have changed over time, but that went on to do really well. The story behind that was they didn't cast a full cast through the network, but when COVID hit, as it did, one of the actors was locked out of the country, and in order for production to stay on schedule, they needed a stand-in for wide shots. Sorry, there's a dog here. Yeah, there was they needed a stand-in, somebody who looked like the actor and who could double, basically, so production could stay on schedule, and they found that person through the call board as well. I have not seen Queen of Soca or No Soca No Life, but I've heard great things about it. So I just wanted to include that there as well, because I see some big names up in this. I was like, let me put that out there too now. Next slide, please. Oh, these are also films that I have not seen, except The Hike. I saw The Hike, and I really love The Hike at the Folklore Film Festival either 2 or 3 years ago. In doing research for this presentation, I saw that Grace and Slim is also available for viewing. I screenshot that one. Let me tell you where I could find that, because I was like, wow, look how that film is just going. It is, I can't find a screenshot. Give me 1 second. Yep, Grace and Salim is on Amazon Prime, so you could also view it there. And it also publishes casting call. I found some of his talent through the network. And The Cutlass I have not seen, unfortunately, but I heard great things about it as well. Next slide, please. With all that being said, it's important for me to dispel any kind of misconceptions that one might have. This service, the first service, is casting publication to the call board. It is a publication and distribution service. We don't actively find the actors for you. The actors are subscribed to our website, or they might find it through social media or a Google search. And if you look at the statistics, you can see where we started off. I can't really see on my side properly because it's small, but hopefully it's wider on your end. Where we started very low. It's about 900 or something visitors and views back in 2013. And over the years, it started to grow. The dark blue are the visitors, and the light blue are the views. And you can see it steadily rose until, COVID hit. Then it dropped a little bit, but it's still a significant number. I think it's about, I don't know. If you all can see the number, what it was at the end of last year, it's kind of a huge deal, So that is the kind of views and the kind of traffic that you can get from having your casting call published on our platform. And sometimes, like I mentioned, it's just a distribution, publication distribution service, right? Sometimes that might result in your casting call getting a lot of submissions, and sometimes you might get a few submissions based on a number of different factors. Some of them you have no control over whatsoever. It might be time, it might be budget. It is what it is, right? And whether you have a lot of submissions or a little bit of submissions, you may find the cast that you're looking for or the actors that you're looking for to fill the roles, and sometimes you might not. And that is where our second service comes into play, and that would be casting direction. Next slide, please. So with the casting direction service, we actually get more involved in the casting process. We're more active. The first one was more passive. This one is active, where we meet with the producers and the directors to get an understanding of what they want, what they're looking for. You read their script, you read their treatment, and we begin to visualize the actors who could possibly play these roles. Now, sometimes the actors you might want might be unavailable, or you might not be interested, or you might not have the budget for it, because budget is a thing, you know? And we might have to do more work, per se. And the first thing that we do is go to our talent database that is over, I have stopped counting, but we have a lot of headshots and resumes and contact information for a number of different actors. We go to that, we go back to the core board if necessary, or we do on-the-ground footwork. P.S. This is Daryl in the picture. She is our casting assistant. I just want to give her a shout out again. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your support. Right. Yeah, so we do what we need to do. Sometimes you just can't find any conventional locations. So you have to think outside the box. There was this time I was casting for a film, and one of the characters was military type. And all the actors that submitted self-tapes for that character, I could see that they're acting. I wasn't believing the character. And what I had to do, I went to, well, the military, pretty much. And I found a guy who is in one of the branches of the military, and he had an interest in acting, and he submitted his self-tape, and it was perfect. Unfortunately, because of COVID, that production is on pause at the moment, but I can't wait, and I hope he's still available to take on the role, because he was good. Right. So after we hold the auditions, after we screen and we shortlist, no, before I go there, it's often a misconception that casting directors are the one who choose the actors, like who choose who get cast. Not all the time. Most times, what we do is we submit actors who fit the role, like a short list, and it's the director or the client who will make the final decision in terms of who will play what role, etc., based on the list that we submit to them. So once we would have auditioned and screened and shortlisted the actors, we send the client a document that has the names of the actors and the self-tape auditions in it. Next slide, please. So this is just a few examples of all the casting dossiers that I would have submitted to various clients. Oh, sorry, I just saw a comment on my side here. Camille, you want me to answer that now or after? Okay, I'll answer it after. Cool, right. So we would have submitted these. These are just a few examples of what we would have submitted with shortlisted talent in it and their self-tape auditions right in there. And if you could tell anything from this presentation, you know I am not basic. I had to be fancy. So let me show you how I just do it. Next slide, please. So we present our dossiers as a digital flip book. And in this flip book, we embed the self-tape video right next to the face of the actor. This is just I guess, a recreation of what it might look like using our flipbook. And yeah, because like what I miss about live auditions is being able to look at the actor's headshot while they audition. But in this way, you're able to see the headshot and the audition at the same time. Can we play the video, por favor? This is the
Hello, my name is
audition for
Damian
Damian
Salandi. I am
Salandi.
auditioning for the part of man number 1 for Sins of the
I
Father.
love his performance, by the way.
It was more than just a day. My wife's death turned my life upside down. I was sad and angry. Very angry. For quite some time. But as the days went by, I wasn't sure who to be angry at anymore. Wasn't sure who to turn to either. They never find the person who, or the people who did it.
Did it stop? I can't tell. Oh.
But I still think about her every day.
Okay, that was Damian Salandi's audition for Sins of the Father. Now, you know, everything have to have a story. Initially, when I read the script, which was written by Adriel Bahadur, I envisioned another actor for the role. But that actor, he had other commitments, and it was difficult to get him for the role. And I just could not. Like, he was perfect. I was like, why, boy, why? And then I remember Damian. Damian would have submitted for another casting call many years before. And I deep dived into that database until I found him. And when you look at that headshot, that is the headshot of an actor who is going places. And I dig up, found his information, and I called him. I was like, I called him on WhatsApp. Are you still in Trinidad? And he said, yes. I was like, great. I have this role that I think I might be good for. I've never seen you act. But a headshot telling me that I could see you as a character. And he submitted this audition. And from the time I saw that audition, I was like, he's playing that role. That is the role for him. And when I sent it to the director, same thing. He watched me. And that's why I need a casting director to her. Like you had to find ways to solve problems. Like, I was hell-bent on the other actor before. And he's so good. I mean, he's amazing, but Damian, boy, whoo, nice. So anyways, let me stop gushing. So we submit the dossiers as a digital flip book. And in this cool time, I had a lot of time on my hands. I started to wonder, if somebody wanted a PDF instead, what would that look like? And how would I create the same feel? How can you still see the actor audition if it's a PDF? Next slide, please. So what I did, I put a link. Well, this is twofold. First, I was thinking about if it's a PDF, how will they be able to access it? As well as if for whatever reason, I don't know, because I'm all about saving trees, right? But if you want to print the dossier, can you still see the audition? How can I create that? Because we live in a contactless world these days, you know, COVID is real. So I came up with this solution. So under the video that you would have seen in the digital flipbook, there's a QR code. Under the QR code is a link. So if it is downloaded as a PDF, which you can, to see the audition video, you just click on the QR code and it would take you to the YouTube link, the unlisted YouTube link that the audition is housed. But if you print it, you can also scan the QR code and it would take you to that same link. So if anyone has their phones out and want to try it out, you can scan this QR code and it will take you straight to Damien's audition. And I've seen the Facebook comments, so let me know if people trying, if we should go ahead. I'll just wait for a while and drink some water. Okay. In the meanwhile, Camille would have asked me a question in the chat. Do I have a service to assist actors with self-taping in preparation for casting? Any casting call that is published on the call board that requires actors to submit a self-tape. We have self-tape guidelines. So that is the most that we do at this time. But also if people are having problems or unused it, they could call us and we will give them feedback on their self-tape as well as how to set up. We have a whole list of self-tape guidelines that is quite helpful. If the casting call requires it, then we will also include that document as part of the casting call. So yeah, anybody try to scan the QR code? No, do I move on? Let me know, master control. Boom, right. So Nicholas would have submitted for another casting call that was inspired by Bridgerton. And unfortunately, he didn't get cast in the role because there were other factors we had to consider. But his audition was so good, I wanted to show it. It was so good. So if you can play this video, I'm gonna shut up and just enjoy the performance. That is Nicholas Subero.
Nicholas Subero reading for the Duke. I've never been a man who much enjoyed flirting, or chatting, or indeed talking at all. But with Daphne, Miss Bridgerton, conversation has always been easy. Her laughter brings me joy. To meet a beautiful woman is one thing, but to find your best friend and the most beautiful of women is something entirely apart. And it is with my sincere apologies that I must say, it took the prince coming along for me to realize that I did not want Miss Bridgerton only as my friend. I wanted her as my wife. I want her to be my wife. And so I plead with you, not to make us wait.
Yep. I just really wanted to share that with everybody. It was so good. And I'm just waiting for the opportunity to cast him in something. I was waiting for that role that he'll be good for and available for, because he's a working actor. So, all right, that next slide, let me see what's here. Oh, right. So to tell you the truth, I have worked, I guess, informally in the casting department for over 10 years. but I never really felt comfortable claiming the title of casting director. You know, I have casting credits on IMDb, as Camille would have mentioned. Who was that by? The Apartment. I have a casting credit there, and that's because of the work that I did in putting the casting call on the call board and how much actors came through that. But I've always kind of distanced myself from the role of casting director because I never really understood what it was until I got a course. Yeah, I did a casting course and started to feel more comfortable. And it's like the universe said, okay, now you're ready, let me give you work. So Asha was the first job that I was officially engaged on as a casting director. Leslie Ann called me and she said, hey, I need an actor and we do have time to put it out and go through submissions. I need you to find them. And yeah, and I did, and that's I guess my first casting director credit. Sky Glow, it was formerly called Telepath. It was another one that it started off as a casting publication client. You know, he would have submitted his casting call to the call board, and after reviewing it, I gave him feedback on his logline as well as his character breakdown, so it could be better understood, or you could be clear on what kind of characters you're looking for. And I even, because he was a first-time filmmaker, I did more work in terms of finding actors to apply for the role. So I wouldn't have really done that for a regular casting publication job, but I did for this one, and I also earned a casting credit for that. And then Sins of the Father, that is my pride and joy, because that, everything that I would have read, everything I would have watched videos about, everything I would have had anxieties about, I had to pull out in order to cast this project. And I am so proud of it. I can't wait till y'all see it whenever it comes out at whichever festival. I'm not sure who tuning in from where, but hopefully when it comes out in a film festival close to you, somewhere, I hope you go see it. I am so proud of this. I'm so proud of the actors. I'm so proud of the director. It was so good. Let me stop gushing. Let me see on the next slide. So now we have the testimonials. Unfortunately, because of the screen, I can't really see. I can't see it, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what, I can't remember what she said right now, but this was Leslie Ann pre-Film TT. Yeah, pre-Film TT, when she was a filmmaker, she would have submitted some work to the call board and she gave us 5 stars, you know? Next testimonial. Christian J. Green Days by the River. I remember that just some years ago, I just wanted to get feedback from folks who would have used the service, just, you know how I can adjust or what I can improve. Well, thank you. Yes, to know what I can improve. And I sent out an email requesting feedback from persons who would have used the service. And Christian gave me this, gave us rather, this glowing review. And I was like, yeah, you made my day. And it was really fun reconnecting with him, just to get his approval to use his photo and to include this testimonial here as well. Next slide, please. This is Azriel. This is the filmmaker, the screenwriter, the director behind Sins of the Father. Funny story. So here the scene now. This is something he told me, right? When he decided, hey, I'm gonna move into filmmaking, like narrative filmmaking, because he worked with the camera too, right? He wanted to know where to find actors, and he Googled it, and he came across our Theatre Buzz call board. He was going through it, and he was like, this feeling too good to be true. Let me not put all my faith in it just yet, and let me find another way. He ended up reaching out to a performing arts school who referred him to someone else, and eventually it led back to me. And when I was telling him about the call board, he was like, wait, that's where I started. you know, like I started feeling it out, but it started to feel too good to be true. And it just came back full circle. We spoke a lot about the project, film, what he's looking for, and ended up being taken on as the casting director. And yeah, I love working with him. I'm looking forward to the next project. Watch me. Oh, so excited. Next slide, please. Let me tell you about Dominic, right? So this was the first international casting call we would have received. I have no idea it was. Now, our submission form collects a lot of data. And when this casting call came through, I saw the IP address for someplace in Scotland. The phone number connected to it was also Scottish. And I was like, let me contact this person. Let me find out if he understands that this website is for Trinidad and Tobago. So I called him on WhatsApp because I don't have money for roaming. And I said, hey, you know this call that he uses for Trinidad and Tobago, right? And he was like, yeah, you know. I was curious, like, why you submit? He's like, because he planned to film in Trinidad and Tobago. And I was like, how you find us? I wasn't expecting that someone from so far away could come across the call board, but he's like, he Googled it, it came up, and he used it, and yeah, he cast his film through that as well. It was a student film, I believe. I think he was doing his master's or something like that. And yeah, he cast it and shot it on the island, and we've kept in contact ever since. Finally, next slide. Leslie. I contacted Leslie the other day because a project that I recently was casting director on, I ended up using some of the skills and techniques that I learned from her from one of the line producing workshop that I think we did last year. I ended up pulling some of those skills to make that happen because that was one of the most complicated casting jobs I've ever had. But thanks to what I learned from her, you know, I was able to hold my own, and I also had my casting assistant there for support. It was amazing, and she gave this review. I also asked her for footage of whatever projects came out of the casting calls that she submitted to the call board, because the funny thing about ads, their descriptions are quite vague. And it's very difficult to know which ad that come out on TV or on social media is related to which casting call because it's so vague. But she sent me some good stuff. And yeah, let me show you just one of them that she submitted to me this morning. Next slide, please.
The countdown has begun, and time is running out. Shop at Quartz today and make this season epic with the latest in electronics, appliances, stylish furniture, and so much more. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
All right, that basically brings me to the end of my presentation. In closing, I'd just like to say that good casting is very important for the success of your project. 90% of the work in directing actors is in casting, and this is because when you get a casting right, then everything is easy. A pretty face, don't put it like that. A pretty face or your friend. Yes, I do cast voice actors as well. Yeah, so a pretty face or your friend who have dreams of becoming a star and all of this good stuff may not work for every single project or for every role. And although working with a pretty face or your friends can have its benefits, good casting has, it depends on having the understanding of the story being told, what is required for each role, a sizable network of actors that you can approach, and an understanding of what they can bring to the table. Good casting goes beyond talent. It takes into consideration a lot of different things, such as availability, marketability, budget, chemistry with other actors, as well as other factors that sometimes could be going at odds with each other. So if you can bring a casting director on board to your project, I would always recommend it because casting is a lot of work. But if not, you always have the Theatre Buzz Scoreboard and our casting publication service. That is all. Ask me something. Question time. I have some questions in the chat here. You cast voice actors as well. I have cast voice actors for, well, sorry, let me rephrase that. Casting calls for voice actors have come through the core board. I have not been a casting director on any of these, but one of the reviews that we got, let me see if I can pull this up on our website. It was, I was trying to focus on film for this, but I do have a testimonial from someone who was casting a voice actor. Let me just pull it up so I can remember who said it and what he said. Yes, it's from Arian Stafford. He said, of the core board, this is an amazing resource for anyone involved in the arts in any aspect. I needed 2 female Guyanese voices, did not know where to turn. I posted a casting call, and in no time, my inbox was inundated with talent. Much thanks. The process when I do casting would be the same. There is a way to embed a voice clip instead of a video in the digital flip book, and I have done it before, but I can't remember what came out of that project. I can't remember. I think it was affected by COVID as well. Yeah. Oh, the website address is, it's a long one, www.theatrebuzzcallboard, TheatreBuzz callboard, callboard.wordpress.com. I know it's long, it's a free website. You know, I ain't paying money for it yet, but to access it easier, you can just follow us or connect with us on any of our social media platforms. You can find us at TTPA Network. That is at TTPA Network. And you can message us, you can send me the link, or you can find the link in our social media description. Yeah, you can access it from there.
All right, well, Tristan, this was very quick. I just
It
feel like,
was?
yeah, it moved really quickly.
Oh, shucks, I rushed through it.
No, I don't think you rushed through it. I think what you should probably highlight to persons is the use of technology at this particular point in time. Since we can't do things in person, that virtual space is incredibly important in making sure that you have your proper headshots, having, what's the video that you were talking about where they self-filmed?
Self-tape audition, yeah.
Yeah. Making sure that they have all the information together. Would you suggest to persons who want to, what information you're looking for basically when you're putting in your information for casting? What is the things that you need to have or should have when you're putting in to get somebody cast?
You're talking about in terms of talent submission?
Yes, in terms of talent submission.
In terms of talent submission, first of all, people, please have your headshots. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily need to be a professional shot, even though I would encourage you all to get one as you start to grow in the industry. But just a headshot or a close-up photo of your face, no hats, no sunglasses, and please, for heaven's sake, I know we are in COVID times, no mask. We can't see your face if you wear a mask. Take it off, take a picture, and submit. And no filters. I have gotten dog nose, bunny ears. People don't know. We casting you. We want to see you, you know? We also take your name, you have the option of putting in your age. If you're under 18, then your age is important. You need to know if you're dealing with minors, et cetera, to find out if what role is right for you. But if you are over 18, you have the option of putting in your age or your acting age rate. We also take your email address, as well as any other thing that might be particular to this, whichever respective casting call. You know, some of them might have asked for self-tape auditions, or they might ask for your demo reel. It depends on the casting call, but those are just the general information. Oh, we also ask your height, because in this digital age, and we can't see you in person, we need to have an understanding of how tall you are or how short you are. Because that also...
No, go ahead. I'll ask you just now.
Because who get cast at what role sometimes depends on something as simple that you have no control over, your height. You know, how do you match up against the other actors? If the lead actor is, let's say, short, you might not necessarily...
5'6".
Oh,
you can say 5'6", and then you end up being like 5'10".
Yeah, and it might look off on camera. You know, so we take a height into consideration as well. We started collecting that information since, you know, the pandemic. I can really visualize what people look like because I get in full-length photos. And I remember this time someone was a lot shorter than I thought they would. Let's put it like that. I said, oh. Not having anything against short people, but it just did not work for the scene, you know?
Yeah, for the
So we have
character.
to find, yeah. Let me see, get your resumes, people, get it together. A lot of people feel, I mean, you can, but I would always recommend that you have a talent resume. I'm actually casting for a project right now that is looking for actors with American accents. And I remember reading a resume that came in how much ever years ago, and I went straight back. I keep all submissions that come through. And I went back, I reached out to her to find out if she's available, if she's in Trinidad, because she had an amazing headshot too. She would have worked so well. And I knew to reach out to her for this particular role because her resume said that she can do an American accent. So I have that information, so I can call her and say, hey, let me use you. Unfortunately, she is in Vancouver.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had to come up with somebody else. But we have a question from Facebook from Natasha Noons. She said, is the casting of children and youth actors difficult? What considerations are there on the platform for them?
Oh, I have to mention this. So if someone is, I'm going to get to the question, right? If someone is under 18, then the submission form is programmed to collect their parents' information as well. Because you know, we're not taking people children out the parents knowing. And also the form is programmed to have parents submit on behalf of their children as well. It depends on, like when you open up the form in the first place, you can either submit as yourself, you can submit for your child or children, and you can add others. So like you submit for one, and you can click to add another one, and it goes up till 3, and then any more than 3, well, there's a general box where you put all the information in. You can submit for yourself and somebody else at the same time. So you enter for yourself, and then you got the next option to add other people. And then you can submit on behalf of your clients if you have like a manager or an agent who could submit for you. Casting of children is, I like working with children. I actually spend a lot of time working with children and youth productions, but more in theater. So I don't think it's difficult for me. I guess it depends on what the project is. Sometimes finding sometimes you get casting calls for babies. I'm like, oh my God, who have a baby? I don't know. But like if it's children in secondary school or primary school, I reach out. I know people who have children. I also put it up on social media and people respond. One of the last projects that I would have cast for, it was hard to find children. We got one submission for a child. And I had to find other ways of doing that. So I just put it on Instagram. Anybody have children? This is for a paying job. Send me pics. And I got some submissions through there. And then also I remembered some children that I would have seen in other projects. There's this beautiful young child who had some clips in her hair from a Freetown Collective video. And I called one of the band members. I was like, hey, do you remember that child from that video? Can I get
Is that the recent video?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, can I get her parents contact?
She was so beautiful.
She was so adorable.
Yeah,
so I called her I called the mother and we spoke. I told her what the project was about, how much it was paying, and yeah, we booked her. And it was a fun shoot. She had a lot of energy, and I could see that she's going places. Just building her resume up from small boy, but yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. I hope
I have
that answered
another
the question. Mhm.
I think you have. I have another question from Facebook. This is Dev Ramnath. Please, please forgive me if I have pronounced your name wrong. I promise. I'm always bad at pronouncing people's names. He said he worked with Aaron before, which is a great guy. He said, do we submit the call board or directly to you?
Submit through the call board. So on the website, there is an option to submit a casting call as well as for upcoming auditions. So if you're looking for the auditions, you click the upcoming auditions, you can see that. Submit a casting call, you will see the space to fill in that information as well. Also to mention, in my time growing in the industry, I realized that we have multi-skilled people who could operate and function very well in front of the camera on stage, as well as behind the scenes as well. And I think it was last year or the year before, we launched other features of the core board. So we now feature backstage jobs. So if you're looking for people to work behind the scenes in a variety of capacities or in different departments, you can submit that through that particular option, the backstage job option itself. And there's also an option for workshops and arts camps. And that actually came out because in the first year, I did a survey. After, I think we earned about 1,800 subscribers in our first year. And I was like, wow, look at people who subscribed. I wonder how much people going out to auditions. And I did a survey I sent a survey out to the email addresses who would have subscribed. And I found out that a lot of them were interested in auditioning, but they didn't feel ready yet. So I added workshops and classes to that as well. So even though you're subscribed and you don't feel like you're ready, at least you're still getting information about how you can get ready, workshops to improve your art or your arts business. And eventually, over time, the people who I would have seen subscribe for years, they apply, and I was like, well, look at you. Welcome. Well, all right. Yeah.
So you were just talking about Azriel, who you loved working with, and he just has a question from YouTube. He said, in your experience, what's the most important factor that an actor can bring into a project?
There's so many. I want to say discipline. It, as much fun as it is work, and it's a collaborative process as well. You know, we would like to be able to depend on the actor to do what they say they're going to do, when they're going to do it, etc., etc. We don't want to, no, when I work, I like to make actors comfortable. You know, I believe when actors are comfortable, they do the best work. So when I'm the casting director, I ensure that the actors receive their contracts, because contracts are important. I ensure that they receive their contracts before they begin to work. And you need to sign your contract and return to me before you work. So I would know, I feel comfortable that, hey, we agree to these terms and we cool. You know, don't have me waiting and running down for the contract. You want the job? You don't want the job? You know, and that's all
that's unprofessional.
We need discipline, you know, short of time.
Well, you know how Trinidadians stay up.
Nah, watch me. A casting director is hired by the producer or the director, right? We're not there to, as much as I vouch for and I root for the actors and stuff, the actors are not the one to employing us. We have to make sure that the production happens. And sometimes, not gonna say which production it is. We had an indisciplined actor who got fired on the spot. And I had to find somebody immediately because the shoot was in a few hours. Thank God I have a whole database, and I dug up in my database, found 2 actors who could potentially, because I wasn't even on set, who could potentially get it. I sent both of them down to set. And I told them I'm sending 2 people there. One of y'all can get a job, the next one may not, because we needed something and we needed it fast. This producer was so gracious. One of them got cast in the role, and the other one, they created another role for him. So they still got paid and were thankful for the effort, but that stressed me out. What?
That does sound very stressful. That is very stressful.
Yep.
So you see professionalism in industry, regardless if it's like a big time production or a small thing, goes a long way. And then of course, it's such a small, tight-knit group. I mean, that kind of behavior kind of gets around. So people need to keep that in mind. So Rhonda from Facebook is asking, what about casting calls for persons who are over 50?
Yeah, I welcome that. Watch me. If we have a casting call for somebody, anybody, like I say, anybody could be an actor. And if y'all are interested, come on down and submit. I'm not gonna betray Damien's age, but he might be over 50 and he came through the call board and he is good, Also the people who we saw for that role, they were also over 50 as well. So yeah, come through hand. You wanna be an actor? Yeah, man.
Let me just double check that we don't have any more questions. Is there anything else, like a idea or a overall kind of synopsis of everything that you want to tell everyone that are listening and looking at us right now from Facebook and YouTube?
Well, basically, good casting goes a long way. You have to take time to, one, describe the characters that you're looking for, because sometimes you just get general, you're looking for this, and it doesn't really help anybody. When you do a proper breakdown, the people who would receive the casting call, they get a better understanding of what you're looking for, and they're more likely to get submissions for persons who fit what you're looking for, as opposed to something just general. Also, it's not nice to rush a casting process. I mean, it's stressful on casting directors, it's stressful on everybody. You want to be able to give as many actors a chance to show what they have to show, and also to give yourself the time to see them, because somebody who you might not have seen, because the time was so short, might be a better fit. But then again, I guess the actor who would be casting the role anyway, they don't care. Like, I get the role, so I don't care if you didn't see them. Speaking of that, we did have a rush call some time ago, and this is what I had to use Leslie's line producing information resources on. It was a lot of submissions, and I needed to get through those submissions very quickly, So I created a spreadsheet, and people who didn't line up with certain things, for the gameplay, their availability, that was some columns, and we designated those columns with the ones and zeros, as well as certain characters that they are willing and able to play, because we're looking for traditional carnival characters, and if you don't understand the character, then you can't play it. So we created this spreadsheet, and the different characters required on different days, right? And we created this spreadsheet, and then we sorted it. We filtered it through for each character based on availability, and people, if you weren't available, if you're looking for this particular character and you weren't available on the day, we did not see you. It's only after the casting finished and we wrapped, I was actually going through, but I still go through all the submissions. I see some people, I was like, oh, hey boy, I miss you, but we just didn't have the time. Who knows? We might have been able to have conversations, because that's the next thing that I do as a casting director, negotiate certain terms. If you really want this person, maybe I can have a conversation to see how their availability might shift, or how they can work better with the budget, because we propose talent budgets as well, just to make sure people are fairly paid. There are times where in conversations with the director, the producer was like, this is not enough for what you're asking for. I think it's going to cost more, to be able to have those conversations to make sure that the actors are well compensated, as well as the producer gets what they want. We also do that work as well. I just went on a tangent. I don't know if I answered the question.
No, you've given enough information as it pertains to what you can get out of having a casting director and using the technology in order to input your information as a actor, as well as somebody who's seeking actors for their productions. So I just want to say thank you so much, Tristan, for giving us this really important information as we're trying to push Trinidad into the place of using technology, because you know how Trinidad and Tobago is. We are very resistant to change. And if we don't change or we don't improve and innovate and bring in these things to help push the industry forward, we kind of get left behind. And so I want to thank you so much for giving us this really important information. You and the Trinidad and Tobago Performing Arts Network. Just tell us your web address one more time so that people can go there to sign up.
The callboard or the social media? I think the social media is easier.
Well, yeah, say the social media because they can get all the information from the socials.
So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TTPA Network. TT as in Trinidad and Tobago, PA as in Performing Arts, and Network. TTPA Network. And if you have any questions about casting, you can email me. I love emails at casting.ttpanetwork@gmail.com.
Right, and it's theaterbuzz@wordpress.com, right?
No, theaterbuzzcallboard.wordpress. Wait.
Why did I say at WordPress?
Theaterbuzzcallboard.wordpress.com. Yeah.
Sorry, that was my fault. I tripped you up. So thank you so
don't
much,
worry.
Tristan,
That URL is going to change at some point in time because it needs to be shorter.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, because you want it to be something that's quick and easy for people to remember.
Yeah.
Totally understandable. At this particular point in time, you're using a free resource until better can be done. But the point is, it's there. The website is there. But thank you so much. And I'm sure the viewers got a lot of information. And I'm hoping that, that means that more people are going to come to your website to give you information. FilmCo is very appreciative that you agreed to do this info session. And we shall be seeing everyone. Have a good evening. Bye.